Okay, we are live. Hey, welcome to the iPoke podcast, episode 6. Happy Thursday. We're going to be talking about UFC 316, O'Malley versus Dvalishvili 2. It's going down this Saturday in Newark, New Jersey. I'm here. My name's Kyle. I'm here with my co-host Eric. So it's going to be a pretty fun card. We're going over the main card, the best bets, and the best picks. So if you haven't already, please subscribe. It means a lot and helps the channel grow. So, I'm very much looking forward to this card. Top down. I don't really know much about the prelim fighters, but the main card is definitely going to be something to watch. And I definitely have my Saturday night plans. So, Eric, how you feeling about this card, my man?
I think this is going to be a really exciting one. Even the women's fight that, doesn't typically get as much respect from the fans,
Mm-hmm.
but Kayla Harrison is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Judo is the first martial art I ever that I started with when I was 16 years old, and it was only a year after that she became the first American to medal gold in judo. So
Mm-hmm.
Kayla Harrison's been on my radar for a long time. I'm happy to see her in the UFC. And this rematch between O'Malley and Merab, excited for that too. And then a couple of the other fights, we were talking about what I think is going to be fight of the night, and we'll get down to that one in a bit. But yeah, this is going to be a good looking card.
Absolutely. I'm very much looking forward to it myself. So, without further ado, let's go and get started. So, first, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go from the top down here. We've got Merab, the champion, the current bantamweight champion, Merab Dvalishvili, who is sitting at 19-4, versus the number one ranked Sean O'Malley, who is 18-2. It's a 5-round fight, and we've got Merab sitting right now as a minus 285 favorite against Sean, who is a plus 230. We've got a good old fashioned striker versus grappler matchup. And we all watched the first fight, and I'm going to go ahead and start with talking about Merab. I mean, this guy's been a dominant force in the UFC since 2018. I mean, he averages over 6.5 takedowns per fight. He's demonstrated prowess on the feet against the UFC's top-level welterweight competition. I mean, his game plan is always to maul the opponent with wrestling, do what he can to keep control on the ground, and also, I mean, hey, the guy has never been knocked out, and but then again, he also has never faced as dangerous of a striker as Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley's a big dude, and just going to their last fight, I mean, it's just Merab just outworked him. I mean, it was nonstop pressure for all 5 rounds, and he didn't even look tired in between rounds. I mean, his level changes were just too crisp for O'Malley to recognize and react the way that he should have. And O'Malley also claimed that before that fight he had a torn labrum, so he wasn't able to. He says he wasn't able to wrestle him the way that he wanted to, or defend takedowns the way that he needed to. So, and thanks to Merab's constant pressure, O'Malley he appeared to be too tired when the fight hit round 3 to rely on the power on his feet, which allowed Merab to capitalize. I mean, it's just. But when we're talking about O'Malley, he's going into this fight, once again with a 4-inch reach advantage. He's got a 5-inch height advantage, and let me go ahead and pull up the graphic here. It's just there we go. So he's going into the fight with 4-inch reach advantage, 5-inch height advantage. He's one of the most crafty, intelligent strikers in the sport. He loves to put on a show every time he goes out there. He's got 61% striking accuracy, which is the current UFC bantamweight record. And he's been focusing on his ground game in his camp. He also claims that he's been kind of doing away with social media. He says he's been quitting weed. He's been quitting other distractions. And it's been nonstop commitment to the game and preparing for his rematch against Merab. Now, and I think that first matchup, it was a bit of a humbling experience for him, but he's training right now with Demetrius Johnson, aka Mighty Mouse, to improve that takedown defense, get better with his ground game, and I think that just like his last fight, I think O'Malley needs a finish here. We were just talking about this before the podcast started. There was in the 5th round, O'Malley threw a kick and hurt him. Merab was visibly injured by that kick to the body, and but the thing is, I feel like he didn't throw a lot of that beforehand because he was trying to get a read on him. But while he was trying to get a read on him, that's what allowed Merab to pressure him and get those takedowns and secure all of those rounds leading up to a decision. But I think it's safe to say that O'Malley, he has to throw caution to the wind here. He has to go out there and make Merab think about throwing takedowns by throwing kicks, throwing knees. But, it's just so, my pick is Merab to win this fight once again, but I'm confident that we're going to see a way much more improved, much more focused Sean O'Malley, like he says. I just, unfortunately, Merab's cardio is going to be too much for him unless O'Malley, happens to get the finish. What do you think, Eric?
Yeah, I agree. To what you were saying about Merab's gas tank, how in their first fight, round 5 came around, he wasn't even tired. I don't think I've ever seen Merab tired in the octagon before. Yeah, he's always going at the same pace in the last round as he is at the first. O'Malley, yeah, I agree. This is going to be probably a more entertaining fight from most fans' perspective. I like seeing when a grappler can impose his will on a striker. Just I appreciate, the sport for what it is with that. But yeah, O'Malley knows that he has to be first, like you said, throw caution to the wind. I think part of why he was being hesitant in the first round was, yes, trying to get a read on him. The torn labrum isn't going to help. But mostly, whenever a striker is fighting a grappler, kicks are risky, because you're throwing your leg up to give to them. Your hips are in a bad position to try and sprawl. The takedown is really right there whenever you're throwing kicks on a wrestler. So I think that made O'Malley hesitant. He's like, I don't want to throw too many kicks. I don't want to get taken down. Getting taken down is the worst case scenario. Well, the worst case scenario happened all 5 rounds in the first fight. So there's no reason for O'Malley to still have that hesitancy. He needs to, like you said, just throw caution to the wind, get out there, especially because that was the most success O'Malley had in the whole fight, was in round 5, landing that body kick that hurt Merab. If he can do that in round 1 and start to affect Merab's cardio, because just the fight pace never tends to slow Merab down, but body shots slow everyone down. If O'Malley can get in there and really hurt him, then he's got a chance of kind of dictating the pace of the fight a little bit more. That being said, O'Malley has to make a lot of changes to win this fight. My pick's going to be Merab also. I think that he's going to get in there and he's going to get it done. I think we're probably going to see a decision. Merab only has 1 finish in the UFC. He is definitely a decision king. O'Malley's chance to victory would be a finish earlier on for sure. But I think Merab is going to, even if he gets hurt, I think he's probably going to end up landing that takedown. He's just very good at it. And then one thing we didn't see much from O'Malley was the jiu-jitsu. I think he might maybe try a little bit of that more from the bottom. One thing that's interesting, I like to see how it's play out. Most people I know who do jiu-jitsu, they claim the weed helps them. I have some friends that almost never compete without smoking first.
No kidding.
In jiu-jitsu alone. Yeah, I mean, your reaction time is going to be a little slower. So for striking, it doesn't necessarily help you. But there's just something about smoking and then getting there and rolling, because you can feel things. You're not just going off of looks and reaction time and things like that. A lot of people like it. I don't know really how much of a difference that's going to make, but it's just kind of an interesting thing, There's that high rollers. Have you heard of the high rollers jiu-jitsu?
Yes, I have. Yeah. How much? They smoke like how much before the competition?
They smoke a lot of blunts before, and then the winner gets, I'm pretty sure, a pound of weed.
Woo!
Which if you're not a smoker, that is a lot.
Woo! That's a lot of weed, my man.
Crazy amount. Yeah.
16 ounces are in a pound. I mean, an ounce can last. I mean, an ounce should last most people a month, but I'm not gonna say it's it hasn't lasted. I had to quit smoking recently, unfortunately, but but I feel like I feel like the weed and the quitting social media is something is definitely something to look at, and I feel like and O'Malley wants to be one of the best in the world, and to be the best you got to beat the best, and right now, Merab is the rightful undisputed champion of the bantamweight division. So, but I think that from a betting perspective, the odds have mostly been static. There's been a little bit of money coming in on O'Malley, like during the week, and I don't expect the odds to change a whole lot leading up to Saturday night. But now, I gotta say, O'Malley via finish is something that's really interesting if someone's deciding to go that route, which is sitting at plus 450. Odds are courtesy of DraftKings Sportsbook, by the way. And
Plus 450 O'Malley by finish.
yeah, plus 450, which
not a bad bet.
no, not at all. And
What is O'Malley by decision?
O'Malley via decision. Let's find out.
Because if him by finish is plus 450, I mean it should be like plus 900. By decision.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't think of that, but let's find out. So Sean O'Malley via decision is wow, plus 600. Which is not, I mean, that's not bad either. I mean, if he's able to land more strikes, defend the takedown for all 5, which is going to be a really freaking tough thing for him to do. But
as far as bantamweights go, though, O'Malley is one of the more finisher strikers in the bantamweight division.
For sure.
I really don't see it going to a decision just because it's going to be too easy for Merab to win the rounds just off control time alone.
Absolutely.
If the fight goes the distance, I really give the edge to Merab.
And I feel like this time around, training with Mighty Mouse, O'Malley's gonna be able to stand up a lot more. No matter how many times he's taken down, but having to stand up, all that time is gonna wear on you. But I also like to think that his card, Sean O'Malley. I think we're gonna see a better version of Sean O'Malley around here, and this time around. And but unfortunately, it's just I think Merab is gonna be just a little bit too much. But I highly doubt it's gonna play out just like the last fight played out. Right. Now, also, but one thing I did find interesting was the point spread for O'Malley, which is plus 5.5. Minus 135. I think honestly, I was thinking. I was thinking Merab via TKO or decision because the reason I say TKO is just we have seen Sean O'Malley be injury prone in the past, so that's something that's really making me hesitant on putting money on O'Malley. However, O'Malley plus 5.5 point spread minus 135. That's a good bet. Merab via decision is at minus 165 if you don't want to lay down minus 285 for him to win. If you're picking Merab like we are. But I mean, yeah, like you said, O'Malley's path to victory, takedown defense and, throwing those kicks early, even though, yes, he is at risk, of course, at greater risk of a takedown, throwing knees, maybe even wrapping up a sneaking in a little guillotine, whenever Merab puts him down. I mean, but, using that length to his advantage. But, Merab, I mean, it's going to be business as usual.
The only thing with that is Merab is such a good wrestler that he doesn't leave his neck out exposed on the outside for too long. I've definitely seen him shoot a takedown, especially like single legs where his head is on the outside for a little bit, but he tends to turn, cut that angle, dump him, and then posture up really quickly, which is how you would, kind of keep yourself safe from the guillotine. If you keep your head on the outside as you're shooting for the takedown, then yeah, they can just wrap that arm up. And then if you dive down straight to the ground with them, you stay in that position. But Merab tends to be really good of either keeping his head centered in the chest during his takedowns, and if it goes to the outside, it's real quick, he dumps him, and then postures his head up pretty quickly. Gotcha. Not to say that, there couldn't be a fraction of a second where he makes a mistake and O'Malley's quick. Anything's possible in MMA, but I think Merab, I mean, the guys he trains with, he knows that that's a risk, and I think he's worked that habit pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, so we're both agreeing on Merab to get it here, and like I said, there is a little bit of money coming in on O'Malley early in the week, but it's just I'll be low key rooting for O'Malley. I mean, it's kind of hard not to. I mean, the guy's he's a very entertaining fighter, very entertaining personality, one of the most entertaining personalities in the UFC. So I'll be rooting for him, but just unfortunately, I just think Merab is once again going to be too much for him, just because of just that relentless pace, the wrestling threat. And but however, I'm pretty confident that we're going to see a more well-rounded version of Sean O'Malley than we've seen in the past. So, but he's not going anywhere. So, all right. So let's go ahead and move on. Did you have anything else, Eric?
No, that pretty much covers my opinions on that fight. I think it's going to be a good one, but
Absolutely.
I think it's going to go in a similar way to the first one.
Yeah. All right, so let's go and move on. We've got the women's bantamweight championship. We've got the current champ Juliana Pena, who's sitting at 11-5, versus the number 2 ranked Kayla Harrison, who is 18-1. Currently, we've got Kayla Harrison sitting as a minus 750 favorite again, and we have the comeback on the current champion Juliana Pena at plus 525. So it's another thing that's interesting. We got Southpaw versus Orthodox. Southpaw being Harrison, Orthodox being Pena. And just leading up to this fight, I mean, the shit talking's been real. It's been pretty heated, and it's just the thing about Pena. I mean, she's got a 3-inch reach advantage coming in this fight, and looking at and going to watch her last fight against Raquel Pennington. I mean, she gave a pretty good account of herself, and so did Raquel. I mean, it was just a back and forth, very entertaining matchup. I mean, on the feet.
Good decision, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was very close, and I think my pick was Pena. That was actually a really hard one to pick, but I ended up going with Pennington. But it's just both ladies they put in an excellent account of themselves, and I do believe that Pena is the rightful champion. I do think, and I think she barely took the belt thanks to 2 takedowns, but their significant strike numbers were quite equal. So the thing is with Pena, she brought in that upset against that famous upset that almost made me cry against Amanda Nunes, and then Amanda Nunes came back and beat her. It's just Pena, she's very crafty. She can bring it when it's least expected. So coming in this fight, she's got a 3-inch reach advantage against Harrison. She has, I think, the cardio edge when it comes to later rounds. I believe if she wants to win this matchup against Harrison, she's gonna have to keep the fight at range and deny Harrison's grappling exchanges, which is easier said than done. Now she also, I believe, she definitely has a striking edge for sure, and I believe she has to weather the early storm if she has any hope of winning this matchup. Now, when we're talking about Kayla Harrison, she's very dominant force in women's MMA. She was just tearing through the competition at PFL at 155 pounds. Very strong, very athletic. Olympic gold medalist, won 9 of 10 bouts as a judo Olympian before transitioning to MMA. She took her first fight at bantamweight in her UFC debut against Holly Holm, won that, and but one thing, is just she's freaking huge. I mean, there's no other way to put it. Freaking jacked, huge, jacked as hell. And I don't think she'll have issues at the weigh-ins. However, I will be keeping a closer eye on her than I will other fighters, just because this is her first 5-round fight at 135 pounds. So, her path to victory, I believe, keeping that constant, relentless pressure like we saw with her against Caitlin Vieira. And keep Pena in the clinch. Deny her of her striking. Keep heavy reliance on the takedowns, ground control for all 5. Use that judo to her advantage. Now, but when it comes to Pena, she's gonna have to keep Harrison's weapons at bay. Fight at range. And the thing is, Harrison. One thing that I notice in her past fights is that she does leave a lot of openings on the feet, which are, were kind of long. Caitlin Vieira, cracked her real good, gave her a big old hematoma on her forehead, made her bleed. So it's just, she does tend to get a little wild, in those clinch situations. So if Pena's looking to win this fight, she's going to have to, look for mistakes that, like the little tiny mistakes that Harrison is making. So, and maintaining takedown defense. She's just gonna have to stay alive through the first three, and then hopefully take over late, and maybe sneak in a submission attempt somewhere, or possibly even a TKO knockout if or even a TKO, which is, I think, very possible. So I think minus 750 on Kayla Harrison is absolutely insane. She lost to Larissa Pacheco in their rematch in 2022 at over minus 700 odds. And also another thing about Harrison, she has never closed as less than a minus 400 favorite in all of her pro fights. So, taking dog odds on Pena, I don't think is the craziest option. It is the craziest thing I've ever done. I think this is a dog or pass situation, and I'm going to do it, Eric. I'm going to go ahead and pick Juliana Pena to win this. And still, wow. What about you?
No way. No, I'm taking no, I think these odds are even fairly accurate. I mean, yeah, I guess I'd give Pena the striking advantage, but Pena's not a very technical striker. As far as like getting in there and like especially getting the reads, realizing, oh, she drops her hand after I throw the jab, so I'm gonna feint the jab and then throw a hook, something. She doesn't do a lot of that stuff. She gets in there and throws kind of wild, sloppy punches, and sometimes they land. I mean, with the upset against Nunes, it was mostly jabs. Like they were both just stepping in with hard jabs, and that was a night that Nunes was just off. Obviously, by the rematch, you could tell it was way easier for Nunes the second time. But Harrison, even though she's not a striker, she throws bombs. She is powerful, because she's so strong, because she's so big. I don't know specifically like what her striking training is looking like, but I know she's been thinking about MMA since 2012 after her first gold medal in judo. I remember seeing an interview with her right after she had won, and the interviewer asked her about MMA, and she was like, well, I think I still have one more Olympics in me, but I'm definitely thinking about the transition to MMA after. And so, I mean, if you're thinking about it and you have 4 years until the next Olympics, then maybe you do judo 5 days a week and boxing or Muay Thai once a week. I think she's dipped her toes in it for quite a while now, to where she's not an elite striker by any means, but she can get in there, she can throw bombs. In the slugfest, I mean, she might get caught, but as soon as they get into the clinch, she has an endless advantage there. Foot sweeps, hip throws, just pressure up against the fence, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's just, I'm not going to lie, I'm nervous as hell picking Pena here. Extremely nervous, just because of what you said. It's just the physicality with Harrison. I mean, she does throw bombs. It's very, very hard. And but I just Pena has spoiled the party before, and I think that belt is rightfully Harrison's, but I'm just way, way, way too nervous to lay minus 750, and I'm thinking it's just putting giving a shot at Pena to win here at plus 525 is once again not the most insane thing I've ever done. And also, wait for it, Pena via finish is plus 900. Whoa. Yeah, good God. I mean, and now, however, let's come back to earth a little bit. So the odds for the fight to go the distance is something that you actually do not see often in women's MMA. It's actually plus 165 for the fight to go all five, which is something, like I said, something you don't see all the time. And now another bet, if you don't want to lay down minus 750 on Harrison and you think she's going to go out there and finish Pena, or vice versa even, the fight to end in a finish is at minus 235, which is far cheaper than minus 750, and something I'd be more than willing to take a crack at. So yeah, I think in terms of how bets are, I might do one parlay with Pena to win, just one. Just for shits and giggles. But I think the safest bet here, honestly, is for the fight to go the distance at plus 165. I think Pena will do everything she can to keep this going all five, and to try to, and let's just say Kayla Harrison does dominate all five. It's just, I feel like Pena is going to be able to do enough to keep herself from getting finished. But if
Yeah, because with that though, even though this is Harrison's first 5-rounder in the UFC, she had 5-round fights in the PFL,
for sure,
and a lot of them didn't make it to the 5th round. She'd finish her opponent earlier on, but she's been training for 5-round fights
for sure,
for a lot of training camps for 5-round fights.
And I'm a little nervous about that's what I was saying about the weigh-ins earlier. It's just I'm going to be keeping a close eye on her, just because she is, at PFL she's at 155. Now she's at 135. So I just the card. So I mean, if this goes 05, I will give the cardio edge to Pena here. But that doesn't mean that doesn't really increase my confidence a whole lot in terms of picking Pena. But I just I'm doing my best not to pick all favorites on this card. I feel like there's like somebody or some fighters in there that are underdogs are gonna take the dub here. But like I said, I'm throwing caution to the wind here, just like how Pena is going to have to throw caution to the wind in order to win this fight. Yeah. So, yeah, give me Pena as my pick. Not super confident, but I'm going to be.
If I was going to go for an underdog, I might pick like Kevin Gastelum or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. Gastelum definitely is. He is live in his fight against Pyfer for sure, because Pyfer has been spoiled before. And but yeah, no. Is there anything else you want to talk about in terms of Pena and Harrison? It's Harrison's cardio edge that makes me a little nervous, in her leaving openings in her striking. But she definitely has the physicality and the ability to take the belt here.
Yeah, I mean, such a big part for me is the rematch against Nunes for Pena. Which I get how it's easy to look bad against like such a world-class fighter. Mm-hmm. But there was at one point she was chasing Nunes down across the cage, hips and shoulders completely squared up, just throwing little like rock'em sock'em robot punches. And I mean, since then it's just been hard for me to take her seriously as like a great striker, even though we have seen her do well in that department, but I don't know. I don't categorize her as a very technical striker. Someone who can land and has landed, but as far as the like how O'Malley can get a read and realize, oh, Merab's doing this, so the next time I'm gonna come over with this strike. I don't see Pena doing a lot of that.
Sounds good. All right, so. Another thing I want to mention, I saw a picture earlier. I didn't actually, I didn't grab it earlier to put it on the show, but there was a picture I saw of Merab standing right next to Kayla Harrison. Since they're both bantamweights. Oh yeah, freaking huge compared to Merab. It's like, whoa. I mean, that made me even more nervous picking Pena. But like I said, I think this. I mean, from the money line, I think this is a dogger pass situation. That's why I think the fight to go the distance or the fight to not go the distance would be the way to go here if you're putting money on a parlay. But but if you're more confident than I am for Pena to get the finish, plus 900 is there and plus 525 is there. There it is. Thank you.
I might not. Very well, but
that's freaking nuts. Oh my God, man, what a unit. Man, yeah. But no, it's gonna be. I mean, bottom line, this is gonna be a hell of a fight. I'm very much looking forward to the outcome here because it's just I think Harrison is already putting all the women in UFC on notice. I mean, actually, Do you see Harrison becoming like a 3 division champ at some point? Maybe 2 division, like going up to 155.
Does UFC have a women's 155?
I have no idea.
I don't
Do you
think
think
they
that? Do you
do.
think they'll start it?
Well, it's who is she gonna fight? Because I mean,
Yeah,
even
that's
women's
true.
145, it's not a very deep division. You
Hmm.
know.
Yeah, 145. That's what I meant. Sorry, but
Yeah.
yeah.
And I don't think she could make it down to 125.
Mm,
She's just too big and already so
yeah, that's
lean.
true.
That's
Yeah,
yeah.
that's why. Yeah, like I said, I got to keep an eye on those weigh-ins because I mean, I'm pretty confident she'll be all right. You know, I'm pretty
I think
confident
she
she'll
may.
make weight, but
Yeah.
I'm curious how she will look when she steps up on that scale. So
Right.
anyway, yeah. So this might be spoiler alert. This might be the only pick we differ on. But like I said, not a whole lot of confidence on me picking such a big underdog here. But here we are. All right. So I'm ready to move on if you are. Let's see. We've got all right. So next up in the men's middleweight division, we've got Kelvin Gastelum, who's 19-9, taking on Joe Pyfer, the up-and-comer, who is 13-3. Currently, we've got Joe Pyfer sitting at -380 to win. It says -375 on the screen, but the odds have slightly changed today. Not by much, though, and I don't think they are going to change much. And we've got Kelvin Gastelum sitting at +300. So, like I said, tiny bit of money. It's kind of been going a little bit both ways on money came in on Gastelum yesterday, but like I said, not a huge line chain that's coming in. But we're going to start with Joe Pyfer here. Joe Pyfer's coming into this fight with a 5-inch height advantage and a 3.5 reach advantage. And but one thing to notice is that he's only 5 years younger than Gastelum, which is really not much. He's
It seems like he's much younger because Gastelum's been in the UFC for so long.
for sure. Yeah, absolutely. And when we're talking about Pyfer, he's got 12 of 13 wins via finish. However, he has only been knocking out the chinniest of the chinny. I mean, Marc-Andre Barrios is one of those guys. It's just he's been knocked out several times. I mean, and whereas, compared to the rest of them, Gastelum is a very resilient guy. I mean, he's never been knocked out. I mean, he's proven his amazing durability in every single fight. He has, Gastelum's obviously, he's got the obvious experience edge. He is past his prime, but he is definitely still a threat to less experienced competition like Joe Pyfer. Even though he is at a height and reach disadvantage here, which he has been, before. Israel Adesanya being one of those.
Right.
He is now if Joe Pyfer, I mean, if he does not, finish this fight early on within the first 1.5 rounds, I think he's going to be in big trouble. I think Gastelum could possibly take him into deep waters. So, my pick here. My pick here is going to be Pyfer. I think he's going to figure out a way to get it done here. However, it's just I think even more so than Juliana Pena. I know I picked Pena to win, but I think Gastelum is a far more live underdog coming into this fight. So now my pick is Pyfer, but like I said, it would not surprise me if it really would not surprise me if Gastelum took over late and managed to get a decision win. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd agree. I'm choosing Pyfer on this one also, but Gastelum, I mean, you can't just completely count him out.
Mm-mm.
Like we said, he's past his prime. He's getting older, but he's still not crazy old. It's just the fact that he's been in the UFC since 2013.
Right.
You're like, oh, well, this guy has over a decade, worth of fights that I've seen him in. So it makes you think, oh, he must be super old. But it's like, no, he was just like 20 whenever he got in the UFC, or a little older than that. But yeah, I mean, he's fought the best of the best in the middleweight division. Put on some of the great fights. I mean, you said Israel Adesanya. Of Izzy's title defenses that he won, Gastelum was the most difficult one that Izzy had.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, Pyfer is a little bit younger. He's up and coming. He's got a good mix of striking and some wrestling. And then Gastelum, he's only won 2 out of his last 5 fights. Uh, I think he is on a little bit of like the downslope in his career. And that makes me give the slight edge to Pyfer. But
Yeah.
if you, like I said, if I was going to choose an underdog on this one, then it would probably be Gastelum.
For sure, yeah. And just kind of going over just some of the odds here. This is interesting from a betting perspective. Just if like we were talking about, it's just Gastelum has never been knocked out. I mean, he's got excellent durability. He's got the experience edge, and if he weathers that early storm and takes Pyfer into later rounds, I mean, it's just Pyfer might be in trouble. So Gastelum to win plus 300 or plus 295 now. It's changed slightly, but I mean that's very enticing. And for Gastelum to win via decision, wait for it, plus 650, which is very enticing if you're doing a parlay. So now Pyfer via finish plus 120. I think that may be what he needs here, but I don't know if that's the best bet. I know I wrote best bet on the graphic, but now the second best bet is for just the fight itself to win via decision, which is plus 100. I mean, which I think would be actually the safest bet. Now, Pyfer via submission plus 330. It's a bit risky, but possible. I mean, it's just Gastelum has been submitted before. But for me to lay minus 375 on Pyfer to win, I can't do it. I just can't. It's just I know he throws bombs. I know he's a very heavy hitter, but it's just that's just way too risky of a price. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree. This is going to be a good fight because it could go either way.
Mm-hmm.
Both guys have, paths to victory. Yeah, I understand the hesitancy, especially if you're risking a parlay on it, to just choose one of them outright.
Mm-hmm.
The prop bets might be the safer route with this one.
Yeah, for sure. The over 2.5 for the fight to go over 2.5 is minus 135. Not a terrible price. There's also a double chance I saw Gastelum win via decision or Pyfer to win via TKO plus 140, and then the other side of that, Gastelum via decision or Pyfer via submission at plus 175. So look for me to avoid the money line here. On the money line, I believe it's a dogger pass situation. But give me Pyfer to win some way somehow. I think he's got more tools to make it happen. But it wouldn't surprise me if Gastelum comes in here and teaches Pyfer that veteran lesson. Very similar to what Jack Hermanson did. And even during that fight, I really did not have a lot of confidence in Pyfer going up against Jack Hermanson just because of, just how crafty Jack Hermanson is in all aspects of the game. So, but yeah.
Well, Hermanson's beat Gastelum too.
Mm-hmm.
Heel hooked him.
Yeah.
Pyfer made it to the decision. I mean, that's just against one opponent, but,
Mm-hmm.
just a little something to think about there.
Mm-hmm.
Pyfer took it to a decision with him, whereas Gastelum got subbed. That's what I say. I mean, Pyfer, most of his wins are by TKO, so he gets looked at as more of a striker, but he has some decent wrestling.
He does. Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I do believe the submission prop is here if he tends to find something. But I think I'm more confident in this fight going to decision. I think plus 100. It was plus 100, right? Yeah, plus 100 for this fight to end via decision is the way I'd want to go, as opposed to risking minus 375 or throwing caution to the wind and putting down plus 295. So yeah, I think that's. I know I said second best on the once again on the card up here, but fight to end the decision plus 100. I think that's the way I'm going to be going. So, but I don't know. Did you have anything else on this one?
No, other than you said plus 100 for it to go the distance.
Yeah.
I mean, you might as well take minus 135 for over 2.5 rounds then.
Mm-hmm. Just for in the event that there's the last couple minutes or so that something happens, somebody it's just like oh shit, I gotta win this one, boom.
Yeah.
But no, it's just definitely some good bets out there. Just on the money line or minus 375 for Pyfer. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to skip that. Okie dokie. Let's go ahead and move on. All right. So next up in the men's bantamweight division, very interesting matchup, and we were talking about this earlier. It's a potential fight of the night contender. We've got where's my
Mario Bautista versus Patchy Mix.
Sorry, I put Holland as number 4. My bad, but yeah, you're right. So bantamweight division, we got number 10 Mario Bautista, who's sitting at 15-2 against Patchy Mix. A lot of sportsbooks are saying Patchy, which I was just like, what the hell, Patchy? He's sitting at minus 20, at 20 at a record of 20-1. Currently, Patchy is the favorite at minus 180, and the comeback on Mario Bautista is plus 150. So it's we've got a guy coming in from Bellator. And another guy coming in from Bellator. And from what I saw, it's just, man, this guy just throws. This guy's pressure is insane. I mean, and just to note, he is training with Merab in his fight camp. He's currently sitting at we're talking about Patchy Mix. He's sitting at a 8-fight win streak coming over for Bellator. He's a former bantamweight champ there.
Sure, 8 fights, but one of those was a grappling match.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah, 7
Oh,
MMA
that's my bad.
fight.
Gotcha, 7 MMA. Thank you.
I was looking at that too when I was counting them, and then I saw, one was a grappling, which he is a very slick grappler.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's where the majority of his wins are coming from.
Yeah, I think some fighters call him like the backpack or something, the human backpack. I think that's what I heard some analysts say. But
in watching tapes from him, I mean, he does get people's backs. He's got a lot of rear naked chokes, but I've also seen him get like guillotines just from standing, in the clinch. The fighter ducks their head, and he just wraps up a guillotine. He's getting submissions from a lot of different places. And then he had a really good, wasn't a flying knee because he's limber, but like a standing knee to the head of an opponent in Bellator. Patchy's good, and, this is his first UFC fight. But he's been in Bellator, Risen, King of the Cage. These weren't just small regional organizations. I mean, he has been in legitimate pro MMA organizations that very routinely are feeders to the UFC. And some of the biggest names, that we all know of have fought in all of those organizations.
Right, and one thing that stands out about Patchy is his 13 submission wins. But going up against a guy like Mario Bautista, I feel like he's gonna need takedowns early and often, which I'm sure he will land. Mario Bautista does have sort of questionable takedown defense, but I'm sure that he is working on that in his camp. But one thing to note is that Patchy has gone from a minus 160 to a minus 180 on the money line since Monday. So a lot of bettors they feel pretty confident he's going to come out here and make a statement on Saturday. And now when we're talking about Mario Bautista, he's coming off of a very controversial and close decision win versus a fading Jose Aldo. And I feel like he's the underdog coming into this, due solely to recency bias. He does have one submission loss. He does have one TKO loss in his career. He does, I believe, have the striking advantage here. I feel like Patchy does get a little bit wild in his striking exchanges, but that's just what I saw. But figuring out who we're gonna pick in terms of a winner, it's kind of tough. I think my pick here is going to be Patchy to win. I feel like he's going to come in here. I'm not really sure exactly how. I mean, even though the 13 submission wins is definitely something to look at, but my pick here is going to be the favorite, Patchy Mix, to win some way somehow. But I feel like Bautista here does have the striking edge and is the more well-rounded fighter coming into this. But it's just I do think that Patchy's going to come in here and make a statement somehow. So that's going to be my pick going into this. But I don't know. What do you think? Who do you have winning here?
Patchy is definitely going to be my pick for this one. But that being said, I mean, it's going to be close. Why I said I think it's going to be fight of the night is because this is going to be a close fight and probably a pretty wild one. I mean, bantamweight is a stacked division with a lot of good, really quick, explosive guys down at that weight.
Mhm.
Bautista also has a lot of submissions as well.
He does.
I mean, he's a good grappler. Um, so, I mean, we could see some crazy exchanges on the ground. We could see their grappling kind of nullify each other a little bit, and we see like a slugfest on the feet. Now, I do agree that Bautista is a little bit better of a striker.
Mhm.
Patchy does get wild, but I think some of that getting wild is from the not caring if he gets taken down. Kind of like how we were
Mm.
talking with O'Malley. Sometimes a striker versus wrestler is going to be hesitant, to throw kicks or
Yeah,
throw
guy has a
certain
nasty guillotine.
really overcommit. But Patchy's just like, I don't care, man. Take me
Yeah.
down. I'm just as comfortable off my back as I am on my feet. So I'll fight you from whatever position we're in. So I think that's why we see him throw sometimes some like crazy kicks. Some things that it's like, oh, okay, clearly that isn't something that you're, drilling every day, but you just kind of like, fuck it, I'm gonna swing this up here, see if it lands. Yeah, I think it's just from his confidence in his ground game that if he gets taken down, he's going to be fine.
Hmm.
But yeah, and then as far as how, I've really got to give it to submission for Patchy because Bautista's pretty tough, not a super chinny guy, uh, whereas Patchy has two TKO finishes. And one was just a knee to the head that just dropped the guy right away. No follow up shots needed. And then the other one, it was back in King of the Cage, so I didn't actually get to see the video on it, but it is listed on Tapology as a TKO. So that's typically ground and pound. Um, but then everything else has been a submission.
Yeah.
So that being said, if he hurts someone on the striking, he does tend to follow him down to the ground and then look for a submission rather than look for ground and pound. So that would be my guess on the way Patchy is going to win
Hmm.
is via decision.
Gotcha. Yeah. I agree with you, man. Yeah. And
I say decision, I meant submission. If I did,
oh,
yeah,
submission. Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah,
just, I'm actually leaning more toward a decision, like a close decision here. And I think Batista's going to give a very good account of himself. Just like I just, both these fighters are very, very resilient, and I think it's going to get, real close. Just like kind of like how Batista went up against Aldo, sort of. I'm not saying it's going to play out the exact same way, but I just like we were talking about earlier. I mean, this fight definitely is, I believe, it's a contender for fight of the night. I think it's going to be an absolute bloodbath. So now if you're saying Patchy Mix via submission, got a good price there, plus 240, which is very enticing. I mean, especially since we're both picking them. Now, however, I am thinking, the fight to go the distance is minus 150, which is not a bad price either. However, I think another interesting price is the fight to last over 2.5 rounds at minus 190. I'm probably not going to lean toward that, but also Batista at the plus 3.5 point spread at minus 135 is also a safe bet. But I just for me personally, I think the minus 150 that this goes decision, I think is the best bet. However, if you're willing to put your well-earned money down, if you think this is going to go to Patchy getting a submission, plus 240 is definitely the way to go, and I think that's an excellent price. An excellent price to go for. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree with you there. These are all good prices, especially just fights like this that are this potentially close, where I'm excited to watch it because I think anything could happen. Basically, the more excited I am to watch something, the less confident I am on any bets.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Very true. But yeah, so we're both agreeing here for Patchy Mix to get it done, either I guess via submission or decision. Actually, what is the double chance on that? I'm actually kind of curious now that we're both talking about it. Let's see. I actually didn't think of that before. So so Patchy Mix to win either via decision or submission, -175. I like that. Like that, I dig that. That's pretty cool. Like, that's not a bad price at all. I just don't think I'm gonna lay my. I don't think I'm gonna go with that. I think I'm just gonna go with the fight to end in decision, which is I lost it, but but I just think that's I think that just good prices all around on here. But also, I mean, hell, -180 for Patchy to win some way somehow.
Was the fight to go the distance.
That's right, yeah. And but now that I think of it, I mean, -180 for Patchy to win. I mean, not the worst price I've ever seen for somebody.
That's probably where I would lean towards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, you're only looking at a $30 difference there.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not a huge. It's really not a huge difference.
I get it. So maybe decision is or did the distance is a little bit safer.
Yeah, for sure. Okie dokie. So we're gonna go ahead and go on. Did you have anything else before we do move on?
No. That's
right.
that covers this one. I think people are gonna find out about Patchy right now. I mean, he's been the champion over at Bellator at bantamweight for a while, but now that they're done over there, we're getting a lot of their guys in the UFC.
Yep. So all right, let's go ahead and move on. So we've got so the final fight of the main card. Everybody's favorite, fan favorite. I don't hate this guy. I just hate betting on him. And by this guy, I'm talking about Kevin freaking Holland. So let's see right now. Where am I? All right. So right now, yeah. Well, it's in the welterweight division. Number 4. Vicente Luque is taking on Kevin Holland. Vicente Luque is the number 14 ranked. He's sitting at 23-10-1. He's going up against Kevin Holland, who is sitting at 27-13. Kevin Holland is currently the favorite at -270, with the comeback on Vicente Luque at +220. Throughout the week, there's been money coming in on Kevin Holland throughout the course of the week. I think he started as like a -240, 250, and now he's a -270, and he's actually trending upward. Now I feel like this matchup has two fan favorite fighters who I don't think they're gonna make their way to a title contention anytime soon, but they're there to put on a show for the fans for sure. Now I want to go ahead and start with Luque. He won via a freaking awesome anaconda choke as a slight underdog versus Tembo Garimbo in his last fight. He was slated to fight Nick Diaz at one point, Nick Diaz at one point in 2024. I kind of hate that he didn't, because that would have been easy money for me and everybody else. And now Luque, man, he's the kind of guy that he does. I am a little worried betting on Luque here, just because of just because he has gotten a little bit chinny in the past. He is a very crafty submission specialist. I think he's past his prime. But however, one thing that worries me about Kevin Holland is his fight IQ, which, I mean, he has improved over time. He has gotten better. But, and I feel like, he's fought at middleweight. He has fought at welterweight. I feel like welterweight is Kevin Holland's weight class. And I feel like he just goes to middleweight just because guy loves to fight. He's easily, Kevin Holland is easily the most active between the two. And let's see, he's fought 4 times in 2022. He fought 3 times in 2023. 3 times in 2024, and now he's fighting for the 3rd time in 2025, and we're not even halfway through the year yet. So, like I said, he's got questionable fight IQ. I do believe he has improved as of late defensively and offensively. Also in terms of takedown defense, even though it is still, suspect. He's got a really good Darce choke. He trains at Travis Litter BJJ. He is a black belt. However, it's just bettors, I feel like, with everybody throwing money on him, they think he's they legitimately think with that 4-inch height advantage and 5-inch reach advantage that he's going to take advantage of that, and he's going to knock out Luque cold at some point. However, I'm gonna have to disagree. I really don't. I really don't think. I don't. I just the thing about Kevin Holland is just he leaves a lot of openings in his game, where especially on the ground, and that's Luque's wheelhouse, I believe. Even though Luque is also a pretty good striker, and he can he can be a threat to Holland on the feet if he stays close. So, I feel like Holland's path to victory here is to keep it standing. I think. And then, Luque, if he wants to win this fight, he's going to have to take advantage of, Kevin Holland's questionable fight IQ, maybe wrap up a submission somewhere. So, go ahead and I'm going to go a little crazy here, and I'm going to pick Vicente Luque to win this fight. I think he's got the tools to win, and I think he's going to be able to find a way. I think he's going to find a way to wrap up Kevin Holland at some point. And, it's just Kevin Holland's not done, even if he does lose his fight, he's just going to be like, whatever. And he's going to fight probably 3 more times this year, both in either middleweight or welterweight, whenever he needs to fight. Kevin Holland's activity is definitely not something to overlook. But, go ahead and give me Luque here. I think he's going to find a way to exploit Kevin Holland's ground game not if, when it gets to the ground. And I think Luque is going to be able to wrap him up at some point. What do you think?
Yeah, Kevin Holland, although he is great at jiu-jitsu, he does kind of just lay on the bottom and wait to set things up, which is a totally acceptable strategy in a jiu-jitsu competition. But
Absolutely.
in MMA, you need to be very quick with things. Control posture, control all of that, because you're going to eat punches. And yeah, I agree with you. I think that's a hold that Luque is probably going to exploit. Holland is a good striker. He's got a lot of power. He's got several KO and TKO victories.
It's a big guy for a welterweight.
Yeah, he hasn't had him in a while. He's 4 inches taller, 6-inch reach advantage.
Something like.
I saw different numbers. Some were saying he was. I wrote 6. I forget the exact number. 81 inch, but then I saw some would say 82. I think it was.
Yeah, I saw 81. I think on Tapology, if I remember correctly. Shout out. But it just I guess it varies. But either way, it is a significant. He definitely has significant numbers in height and reach, which is what that's what bettors are going to be looking for.
Yeah, no, he's a big guy. Absolutely. Kind of surprised me the one time I saw him in person. Was like, holy shit, man, he's way bigger than I had anticipated. But yeah, anyways, both of these guys, they're getting older. They've had a lot of great fights, and against some of the best in the welterweight division, but they've both been losing more than winning as of recently. And that's why I think that they're the first fight of the main card. Even though they are big names, I think it's just where they are in their careers that is making them not be at least before, Bautista and Mix.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just I understand why bettors seem to be leaning toward Holland here. I just I can't do it. I cannot lay anything over minus 200 on Kevin Holland under any for any circumstance. It's just just because how Luque, he's able to find that to lock in that submission. He is able to capitalize on mistakes. So it's just I feel like there's a lot of there is once again some recency bias from his knockout against what was it? It was Joaquin Buckley. So I just it's really tough for me to lay from a betting perspective. You did pick Luque, right? I forgot to.
That's one I'm not crazy confident on.
I got
but yeah, I'm gonna lean towards Luque.
Okay.
I like Kevin Holland. I'd like to see him win.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
I just I do see Luque being able to, I mean, just what we've seen a bunch of times of where Kevin Holland's basically just kind of laying on the ground, eating shots, and then towards the very end of the round, he just something just like throws an omoplata up at the very end, where it was like, oh shit, if you did that 2 minutes ago, you would have maybe had time to finish it, but you did it with 10 seconds left in the round.
Yeah.
We just see so much of that from Kevin Holland that it makes it a little bit hard to pick him.
Hmm. It's yeah. I mean, as I said earlier, it's always hard for me to pick Kevin Holland in any matchup. It's just yeah, he is the more active guy. Guy loves the fight, and he very much the threat of the knockout is very very real here against a chinny guy like or suspect not. I'm not going to go as far as say chinny, but somebody with. I mean, Joaquin Buckley does have a lot of power, but
Right.
he
Yeah.
does, but he does have a suspect chin. But now when we're talking about the odds here, so the fight to end in a finish at minus 210, I think would be a better price than laying down minus 265, minus 270 on a guy like Kevin Holland. I think, in another enticing bet, Luque via submission sitting at plus 700. Hey, that looks pretty good to me. And the fight also the fight to last over, I think it's 1.5 rounds. I mean, that's not insane. I think that's sitting at minus 180 right now. That's which I think is an awesome price.
Yeah.
And
1.5. Yeah.
yeah, and then of course you got the double chance for Luque. Since we're picking him, Luque via submission or decision is sitting at plus 275. That's an excellent price. But sorry, minus 265, minus 270 for Holland to win. Way, 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 way too expensive for me. So let me actually, screw it. Let's go ahead and see what Holland is via knockout, because even though that's not my pick, I am quite curious.
He's got power.
He does.
That knockout of Jacare Souza, where he was like on the ground, looking like he was about to
Yes. I'll never forget that,
and
man. That was cool.
catches him with a punch from there. Yeah. I mean, that's gonna always forever give Holland some cred on his striking, just to develop that much power, from such a short range, not even having your feet on the ground to be able to kind of generate some of that torque. That's impressive. That was a while ago.
Yeah.
Let me. That was in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
It was 5 years ago.
Yeah. It's crazy to think that was 5 years ago. It feels like it wasn't anywhere near that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
But Kevin Holland to win by TKO is sitting at plus 130. So, I mean, if you're out there and you're betting on Kevin Holland, I would not lay minus 265. I'd go plus 130. I don't know. But, yeah, just minus 270. That's a little bit too crazy of a price tag for me. But we also got for a double chance, Luque to win via submission or Holland to win via TKO minus 125. I mean, can't beat that.
125. Yeah, that's a pretty safe bet, I'd probably say.
But it's just as I've said before, I just lay money on Kevin Holland on the money line. For a guy that loves to talk, loves to well, not so much anymore, but used to just fuck around and talk to the DC during the fight.
Yeah.
It's just like God, like when you have money on him, like you're sweating bullets at that point. It's like man, dude, like just either finish the guy or just commit to your path to victory, because it's just man, that guy makes me so nervous. But yeah, I mean. But really over 1.5 rounds at what was it, plus 130? I have two different numbers here. I'm sorry. Let me verify that. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. So over 1.5 rounds. I mean, at minus 175, that's not the worst price I've ever seen either. I mean, that's actually something I'm probably going to be leaning toward.
Yeah, that's a pretty good bet right there.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, go ahead and give me Vicente Luque. I'll pick the underdog here. But it wouldn't shock me if Kevin Holland came out here and either landed the knockout or managed to win the decision slightly from a numbers perspective. So, Yeah, give me Luque. Did you have anything else on that one?
No, that's it for me.
Alrighty. So I don't know. I did make. I mean, I've got a little bit of time. If we want to talk about some stuff. I mean, yeah. So it's just. I think earlier I was watching. I was just scrolling on Reddit, and O'Malley himself went on record and was saying, he's like, man, it's so easy. He was talking about the pay-per-view model. I know we talked about this before, but he was talking about the pay-per-view model, just saying like, hey, it's so easy to stream fights now. It's like, why pay the $80? And I kind of like him putting the UFC on notice like that. It's like they need to figure something out, because it's just I'm gonna go admit it. I'm not buying this fight. I will not pay $80 to watch this card in any capacity. Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of viewers and fight fans out there will agree with me. And it's just even if O'Malley's going out there and he's going on record saying the pay-per-view model's dead, I think it's safe for me to do it too. So, I mean, good on him for. So, I mean, yeah, good on him for voicing that out there. Putting his voice out there and talking about how just how dumb it is. I mean, to like $80 for a card that could end up being mediocre and a waste of money altogether. Because in an economy like this, $80 can buy a lot of things you need, and unless you've got a big old group together, it's just not worth it.
Even if you have the big old group coming, partially it's what I hate is that it's like almost 1 a.m. when the cards end,
Mm-hmm.
and I work Sunday mornings.
Yeah.
It's what is like I watch boxing, or I mean literally any other sport. Even the late games, are over a lot sooner.
Yeah.
And especially people on the East Coast, it's midnight, after midnight, before the main card, before the walkouts for the main event
Mm-hmm.
are even happening. I think that's an issue that they have for the get-togethers. So if they moved them a little earlier and then brought the price down, I think you would see a lot more people just say, hey, we're having some friends over, we're gonna buy the pay-per-view, watch the fights, and then that's really gonna grow the sport more, because I mean you don't have a lot of people just casually going to a bar, Buffalo Wild Wings, whatever it is, it's going to be showing the fights, unless they're already a fan and they're already hyped up for it,
For sure. And yeah, it's just go to your local. B-Dubs shows them a lot. There's a Little Woodrow's where I'm at that they're gonna show it. I mean, it's just that's kind of the way to go. Or if if a Pirate's Life is for you, then definitely take that route. I know I will. I just they've got to get rid of this model, and I feel like it's not a matter of if. I think it's a matter of when. I feel like.
Some in trying to do some research for this one, trying to watch some tape. ESPN Plus doesn't have as many fights as had. It's like getting rid of some of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that their contract is.
I saw that
coming to an end.
Yeah. I saw that actually when I was trying to watch tape on some of the fights. They were not available. I'm like, okay, yeah. I know I don't pay this much for my stupid Disney Plus, Hulu, freaking ESPN Plus bundle to not get to watch fights that I want to watch, fights that I want to see, fights that I want to study, and it's kind of ridiculous at this point. It's like what? It's like, what do I pay for? What the hell do I pay for? Mm-hmm. I mean, good Lord. And so I'm actually, I'm hoping Netflix comes in and does what they do with what they're doing with WWE now, and because it's no one's gonna pay the $80, and hopefully the UFC brass is starting to see that, because it's kind of freaking crazy.
I don't know if the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight made money, if it turned a profit for the promoters.
That's a good example.
I mean, if it did, then yeah, what are you doing, UFC? Start doing that.
Yeah.
At the very least, I mean, they should if they're gonna try to go to Netflix and keep a pay-per-view model, there should be fewer pay-per-views, and they should be epic. You know, like UFC 300, every pay-per-view should be like that stacked. You know,
Yeah.
where people are like, okay, yes, I want to watch this. So many people are going to be watching this that it's going to crash Netflix servers. You know, like the Paul and Tyson fight did. But like we should get more fight nights, you know, if it's going to be like that.
More
And fight
good
nights
fight
are
nights.
Yeah, so there are a lot of fight nights, but they should be entertaining. I mean, so many fight nights. It's like, okay, I know who three of these people are, and you know, I consider myself a pretty big fan, not just like some casual. If you hardly follow the sport, most fight nights you have no idea who any of the people. And admittedly, sometimes I still love watching fights where I don't know who they are. I mean, that's how you find out about people. You know, everybody has their first fight you saw them fight in, but yeah, I mean, just so many of the fight nights are not exciting, impressive. I mean, the biggest news about this last fight night was that Macy Barber had a seizure, or was it Blanchfield that had a
It was Macy Barber. Yeah, she had a
seizure?
yeah, she was like prepared to walk out, and then reportedly had a seizure coming
Yeah.
out, and
She
then
looked rough getting on the scales.
she did. Yes, that's another reason I refused to put any sort of money on her. Actually, I avoided. I just played DraftKings Fantasy on that one, and I refused to play Macy Barber in any capacity. And I also refused to play Aaron Blanchfield, but unfortunately, I kind of put all my eggs in one basket on Zach Reese, and he just didn't really get me the points that I needed. I actually a lot of people did play, like in the contest I was in. A lot of people played Aaron Blanchfield, and then when that fight didn't happen, of course they got 0 points, and I still missed out on $150 by 10 points. I was so upset. I was like, you got to be kidding me. But I mean, it's just like I should have. Like I was nervous picking Zach Reese, anyway, even though he did get the win controversially. But
Did you have him by like
yeah,
finish?
yeah, I had him in a lineup, but he was like, it's all salary based, and you got to pick 6 fighters, and he was one of the most expensive ones, and I thought he was the most likely out of that price range to get a finish, but he unfortunately did not get the finish, even though Dusko Todorovic is kind of a chinny guy, but Todorovic gave a really good account of himself. So yeah, no, I missed out by 10 points, all because of that, plus a couple of other boneheaded decisions. But it was unfortunate, just because out of everybody who picked Blanchfield, I decided to avoid that fight entirely, just because I knew a lot of people were going to be picking Blanchfield, and I still lost by actually less than 10 points. So I mean, but back to Macy Barber. Yeah, she's gone on record saying that she doesn't really know exactly what happened and or why it happened. So I mean, I wish her the best. I just maybe she needs to move up a weight class. I don't know, but
Yeah, I mean, electrolyte imbalance can cause stuff like that, like neurological things to be going on. Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to not assume that there is some correlation between her weight cut and that happening, with how rough she looked on the scale, and then that happening right after. She probably tried to rehydrate really hard. I wouldn't be surprised if it was some type of, electrolyte imbalance type thing. I don't know, because after it happened, I remember going through. I might have been Reddit comments, but one of the people were mentioning who she had been working with for nutrition, and it was one of the like big people that I've heard of before who work with a lot of fighters. I'm trying to see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, it's at least not. Oh, Tyler Minton. Yeah.
okay,
You heard of him? Yeah, he works with a lot of fighters.
yeah.
And I've even seen he has like programs, out so that your person competing in a jiu-jitsu tournament on the weekend can, cut a little bit of weight. I was supposed to. I'm competing Saturday. It's in the afternoon. I'll be done by the
Are you
time the
competing
fight.
on Saturday?
In jiu-jitsu,
Oh,
yeah.
right on, dude.
Mhm.
Good luck,
Yeah,
man.
it's gonna be my first competition since 2021.
Oh,
So,
wow. Okay.
but
I think.
but the viewers don't know. I turned 30 today.
Oh
So,
yeah, dude. I can. Man, I was gonna.
happy
Crap.
birthday.
Yeah, you didn't. I texted you and I said happy birthday. I'm just like, I hope I got that right. I saw it on Facebook, but
Oh
yeah,
yeah, you
dude.
did.
Happy birthday, man. Thank you for coming here
Thank you.
and happy
But yeah,
30th, my man. What you got
yeah.
going
So
on?
now, being an official old man, I get to compete in the Masters division
It's all.
uh,
It's
against other
all
old guys.
downhill from here, my man.
Yeah, well, no, jiu-jitsu wise, it's I get to fight against other people that have jobs, and
Yeah.
not some 18-year-old kid who, lives at his parents' house, has no job, trains jiu-jitsu 7 days a week,
Hmm.
sometimes two, three times a day. I'm sick of those guys.
Right. I
And
hear
then
you, man.
especially nowadays, half those 18 to 20-year-olds are taking steroids, and it's like,
Uh huh.
I'm done.
I just feel like I just feel like it's easier to get like access to that kind of shit now, too. I
It's
mean,
way easier.
God.
But anyways, to say that I was going to cut a few pounds,
Hmm.
uh, move down to lightweight, and then I looked at the bracket, and there was only going to be one other person in my division. So I was like, well, I mean, forget dieting then. I'm gonna go up a couple pounds and
There you
eat
go.
whatever I want.
But yeah, especially are you are you celebrating your birthday? Are you gonna go out? Like, what are you gonna do?
We're going probably to Two Charlies, a place you know well.
Uh
Uh,
huh.
yeah,
Absolutely. That's always a fun. That was always a fun time. I miss that spot. But
yeah.
yeah, man, happy 30th, dude. And I remember my 30th birthday. I met Joseph Benavidez in the hotel lobby over at the Marriott in Houston. That was pretty
Oh
cool.
wow.
I met Benil Dariush as well. That was pretty cool.
Mm.
But yeah, that was a that.
Was there a UFC event going on
Uh-huh.
in
It
Houston?
was UFC. Hang on, I've got the ticket up there. UFC. Crap. Already. I can't see that far away. My
It was
vision's
probably the
good, but
last time they were in
it
Houston.
was the title fight between freaking oh
The
crap.
Derek Lewis fight.
No, it was he might have been on. Yeah, he might have been on that. Crap, I'm looking it up. I don't want to misspeak. Let's see. It was Chandler versus Oliveira.
The
Yeah,
first
that
one.
was yes. Yeah, it was UFC 262 in Houston. Yeah. Oliveira versus Chandler. That was a freaking awesome time, even though the tickets were stupid expensive. Yeah, Benil fought. Yeah, Benil beat Tony Ferguson, and then no contest between Bontarine and Matt Schnell, and yeah, Edson Barbosa was on that card. Shane Burgos. That's the one. That's where Shane Burgos just fell. Like he just fell back into the cage, and then
Oh yeah.
yeah. Seeing that live, I was just like, "Whoa! You do not see that often. Holy crap!" But
Yeah, the first live MMA event I went to was a Bellator,
mhm.
um, which was, I mean, I didn't know any of the fighters there because it wasn't even a big Bellator event.
Yeah,
Um, it was like on a Friday, and then they had a card. 'Cause this was in Oklahoma, the Windstar Casino,
yeah,
and then they had a Saturday card in like Ireland, like the very next day.
yeah,
Um, so I mean, literally the only people I knew in that whole building was Big John was a commentator.
yeah.
Um, I'm blanking on his name. One of the refs, the shorter ref, is it Dan something? It's not
Mm, it's not Dan Margliotta. I think he's a big guy.
No, this is
Yeah.
a newer. Sheesh, man, it's showing me. Where's this guy?
Is that Herzog?
Herzog, that Jason
Yeah,
Herzog.
Jason
Yeah,
Herzog. Yeah.
I was blanking on his name. Yeah, he was there. So yeah, Jason Herzog and Big John were the only people
Yeah.
I actually recognized there. But anyways, um, seeing like a crazy knockout live, or makes you realize that like on the pay-per-view or just whatever the event, someone gets knocked out, and then the camera pans to the winner, celebrating, moving around. When you're there in person, you get to see like, oh shit, it's been like 2 minutes. This guy is just barely starting to get back up.
Yeah.
Makes it all a lot more real.
Hell yeah. Yeah, there's they call it a peak fighting championship. I just started training again at 10th Planet down in Beaumont, and there are guys who are going to be on that card who are fighting on that. It's in September, and it's just I think me and my girl are talking about getting floor seats, which is going to be pretty awesome. So
that's what was really cool about the
cool.
Bellator one, is that it was so much cheaper. It was like $60 a ticket, and we were like floor 100 feet away from the cage. But it also made it very, after a heavyweight knockout, they turn to the crowd and scream. It feels like that dude's looking right at you, and it's just that's a little scary.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing is with Bellator and like the small organizations like Peak Fighting Championship, is just you're not having to sell your kidney in order to pay up for you and another to go sit in these really tiny seats and barely see what's going on. But yeah, hopefully UFC lowers their prices in the future, but I don't think they will, just because of how greedy they are. But we can only dream, right? All right. Well, I didn't have anything else, Eric. I was gonna go ahead and let you go. But
I don't have anything either. That's
all right. Well, thanks for joining me, and thank you all for tuning in. As before, please subscribe if you haven't already. It keeps the channel going, keeps the channel growing. We're probably gonna go. Let's see. What's the next card that we were talking about earlier? I think it was a fight night, if I remember correctly. I can find it real quick. We had
talked about
Usman versus Buckley. Okay. We were talking about fight night cards sucking. This is not going to be a fight night card that sucks. So, Kamaru Usman versus Buckley. That's going to be amazing. Namajunas versus Miranda Maverick. Good matchup. Edmund Shabazian versus Andre Petrosky. Great matchup. Cody Garbrandt, Ronnie Barcelos. Great matchup. Cody Brundage, Abdul Malik. Great matchup. Alonzo Menafield, Omar C. Great matchup. Paul Craig. This looks like a pay-per-view card, from like a year ago or something, or a couple years back. Like, this could pass as a pay-per-view card.
Yeah.
Wow. So, that is one hell of a card. So,
and then actually the next fight night is a really good one too. Jamal Hill versus Khalil Roundtree.
Oh boy.
Fiziev versus Bahamundez.
Oh yeah, I dig it. So I feel like we had to kind of like weather the storm on lame cards to get to these. So we've made it to summer, everybody.
yeah, I guess so.
All right. So go ahead. So everybody, mark your calendars. We're gonna be tuning in for Usman versus Buckley on June 14th. I guess that's next week, isn't it? Wow. Yeah. All right. Well, I got to get to work then. All right, guys. Yeah, once again, thank you very much for tuning in. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Stay tuned for episode 7 next week. And we'll see you next time.